Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help.
The mistake really is there's too much BS floating out there, and now it's out of our hands. There's no way to control it, so now they're saying they're going to control it. I want to see what they're going to do.
My team will review the applications and give credentials to new media applicants who meet our criteria and pass United States Secret Service requirements to enter the White House complex.
All right.
What'd she say?
She pointed out that it's been a while since we checked in on the crazy things happening on The View, and if you thought they might have calmed down, nope, they're still as loud and over the top as ever with their usual woke nonsense. But this time, they didn't get away with it, because Bill Maher and Karoline Leavitt, an unexpected but powerful duo, teamed up to shut them down in a big way, and yes, it was epic. So, what wild stuff were the ladies of The View saying this time, and how did Bill and Karoline hit back with the perfect mix of sharp humor and honest truth? Don't worry, we've got all the best parts and mic drop moments. Get ready, because this is going to be a wild ride.
Get past this endless, unforgiving, zero-tolerance mindset bent on punishing and disappearing anyone caught saying the wrong thing. The right response to speech you don't like is more speech.
You might be wondering why Bill Maher is suddenly speaking out about the need for less hate between political sides. Well, it turns out the ladies of The View aren't too happy about Maher slowly leaning more to the right, and what really pushed them over the edge was his recent dinner with none other than former President Trump. On a recent episode, Whoopi Goldberg was absolutely furious, ripping into Maher for having the nerve to share a meal with someone they see as public enemy number one. She was so upset, she wouldn't even say his name.
Take him seriously and take him literally.
I don't think that we have to. I think it would be remiss of us to not say Joe Biden knows how to do this. Yes, he knows how to do this. He's quite good at this. And you know, you can't refute anything with him because he just, when I say him, I mean
he rambles.
Trump.
Yeah.
He tends to just.
But can I mention one thing?
Whoopi's angry outburst was just the start. What followed was a full-on attack on Bill Maher's character, all because he dared to have dinner with someone they've spent years criticizing. For Whoopi and the rest of the panel, this wasn't just a simple meal, it felt like a total betrayal, and in their eyes, no amount of logic, humor, or honest discussion could ever excuse what they saw as the unforgivable act of sitting down with the so-called enemy.
How dare you be so flippant, man? Listen, nobody on the planet really wants to go through this. This is not something we're doing because it's, really gratifying. This is what we're doing to protect our families. And you don't have to do it, but stay away from everything.
If you know anything about Bill Maher, then you knew there was no way he was going to let this slide. And sure enough, he didn't disappoint. On a recent episode of Real Time with Bill Maher, the comedian came out swinging, aiming directly at Whoopi Goldberg and anyone else who was gasping in outrage over his recent visit to the White House. Using his trademark blend of sharp sarcasm and smart commentary, Maher completely tore apart their outrage, breaking it down point by point and making it absolutely clear that he doesn't need anyone's permission for who he chooses to talk to, and he's definitely not asking for it. It was classic Maher at his best, fearless, unapologetic, and razor-sharp.
12 days ago, I had dinner with President Trump, a dinner that was set up by my friend Kid Rock, because we share a belief that there's got to be something better than hurling insults from 3,000 miles away. And let me first say that to all the people who treated this like it was some kind of summit meeting, you're ridiculous. Like I was going to sign a treaty or something. I have no power. I'm a comedian, and he's the most powerful leader in the world. I'm not the leader of anything, except maybe a contingent of centrist-minded people who think there's got to be a better way of running this country than hating each other every minute.
Before launching into his verbal takedown of Whoopi Goldberg, which I'll play in just a moment, Maher made one thing very clear. This is still America, a country where democracy actually means something, and he reminded everyone that having different opinions doesn't mean you have to hate each other, and that disagreement doesn't need to turn into full-blown outrage. Just because someone sees the world differently doesn't mean you need to lose your mind over it. It's called civil discourse, eh? basic idea that the ladies of The View seem to have tossed out along with last week's headlines. Maher wasn't just defending himself, he was defending the belief that people can disagree and still be respectful, which sounds completely reasonable, unless you're Whoopi, who fired back at Maher as if his comments were some kind of personal attack.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
I know as I say that, millions of liberal sphincters just tightened. Oh my God, Bill, are you going to say something nice about him? What I'm going to do is report exactly what happened. You decide what you think about it. And if that's not enough pure Trump hate for you, I don't give a f.
Whoopi even went so far as to compare Trump to Kamala Harris, accidentally revealing her not-so-hidden wish that it had been the vice president who invited Maher to dinner instead, because if that were the case, she wouldn't have had a problem at all. In fact, she probably would have hosted the after-party herself. Every compliment Maher gave to Trump, if it had been said about Kamala, would have had Whoopi clapping and cheering without hesitation, but since it was Trump, those same words were treated like a complete betrayal. This wasn't really about values or consistency, it was pure, obvious partisanship, and Whoopi unintentionally made that crystal clear for everyone to see.
I talk about Whoopi Goldberg because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before. Sure. So she was, everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma. First of all, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my show next week, teaser. But there is no thing as karma, okay? Get over that. Whoopi attacks me on a regular basis. She says stupid on a regular basis. It just happened to coincide.
And this is exactly why I respect Bill Maher. He doesn't just talk about free speech, he actually practices it. When the outrage machine comes after him, he doesn't flinch or back down, even after being publicly called out by Whoopi Goldberg on national TV. Maher stayed strong and stood by what he believes in, and that kind of courage is rare these days and truly deserves recognition, especially considering Whoopi's outbursts sparked backlash from all sides, with some even calling for her to step down. But Maher didn't play the victim. Instead, he doubled down on his principles, and that's what sets him apart. Still, he didn't end things without dropping a few powerful truth bombs of his own.
Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Ouch. Did Bill Maher really just compare Whoopi Goldberg to a hunter and himself to a lion? Yep, you heard that right, and say what you want about Maher, but the man definitely knows how to craft a powerful line, and honestly, he wasn't wrong. In this bizarre media safari, Goldberg charged in like a righteous hunter, guns blazing, ready to take down the so-called traitor, but Maher, cast as the prey, flipped the script completely. Instead of running, he fired back with sharp wit and perfectly aimed comebacks she never saw coming. In the end, it wasn't the lion limping away, it was the hunter left looking rattled. And just as Maher was cooling things down, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt was only getting started.
We have seen cultural Marxism trickling its way through every institution in this country. The public school system, the higher education university system, Hollywood, big tech, the corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans into hating our country, hating one another based on race and gender and sex and all of this other BS.
Levitt is absolutely spot on. Modern-day wokeness has led to a serious moral breakdown that's taken over nearly every part of society, leaving behind real and lasting damage. What once looked like empathy and progress has twisted into something toxic, fueling censorship, division, and an obsession with identity politics. News outlets have stopped focusing on facts and now push crafted narratives. Universities are pushing ideology instead of real education. Political parties care more about virtue signaling than solving real problems, and even healthcare is being affected as political agendas start to override science and patient care. This isn't just a small cultural shift, it's a full-blown crisis, because wokeness isn't helping society, it's slowly tearing it apart. Whoopi Goldberg isn't just another opinionated TV host anymore, she's become a symbol of the very ideology that's poisoning public debate. Her blind loyalty to woke thinking shows how easily celebrity influence can be used to shame, silence, and attack anyone who thinks differently, and instead of promoting real conversation, she adds fuel to the fire of cancel culture that's dividing people more every day. And with that, Karoline Leavitt stepped in and turned up the heat on Whoopi even more. Interview 10. Karoline Leavitt absolutely tore into those bitter panelists, and let's be honest, they had it coming. For years, the women of The View have fed their loyal audience a steady stream of half-truths, spin, and outright fiction, all wrapped in feel-good commentary. Just look at how they once praised Joe Biden as the best thing to happen to America, even as it became more and more obvious that he was showing clear signs of cognitive decline right in front of everyone. Then there's Kamala Harris, whom they crowned the savior of democracy, despite her repeated inability to deliver a clear, coherent sentence without diving headfirst into a mess of buzzwords. It's pure propaganda, dressed up with pearls, shiny sets, and high-pitched laughter. But thankfully, Leavitt didn't come to play. She came armed with facts, calm confidence, and real backbone, and she shattered their delusions live in front of a national audience. Of course, Whoopi Goldberg tried to clap back in her usual style, but Leavitt's response was nothing short of legendary.
The mistake really is there's too much BS floating out there, and now it's out of our hands. There's no way to control it, so now they're saying they're going to control it. I want to see what they're going to do.
My team will review the applications and give credentials to new media applicants who meet our criteria and pass United States Secret Service requirements to enter the White House complex.
Levitt exposed the clear contradiction in someone like Whoopi Goldberg, who constantly talks about tolerance and unity but then explodes in outrage just because someone had dinner with a former president she doesn't like. She reminded the nation that true leadership means standing strong in your beliefs, not caving to the loudest voices in the room. This wasn't just another viral moment, it was a serious wake-up call, and every truth bomb Levitt dropped chipped away at the foundation of unchecked woke hysteria. In the end, Karoline Leavitt and Bill Maher delivered a powerful 1-2 punch that exposed the performative outrage and emotional theatrics of The View. Whoopi Goldberg's meltdown over one dinner revealed a hard truth: the people who scream the most about tolerance often show the least of it. Maher stood his ground, Levitt came out swinging, and together they cut right through the illusions pushed by the media elite. This wasn't just a passing headline, it marked a cultural shift. More and more Americans are starting to wake up, and the old tactics of shame, spin, and emotional manipulation are losing their grip. The tide is turning, and truth is finally pushing back. And with that, we wrap up today's episode. If you enjoy bold, unfiltered commentary, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Share it with your friends. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.